What is up, all of you regs and all of you shinies? It's Jackson from the 1313 podcast, and just Jackson this week. Unfortunately, there is no Jacob. You might be asking yourself, 1313, where have you been? We're sorry about that, everybody. The short answer to that question is that Jacob and I have both been on vacation. I ended up spending some time in the mountains of North Carolina with my father-in-law, and I was going to shoot an episode with Jacob, and then his schedule got changed last minute for work, and then I ended up going down to Florida to see Jacob after that, and I think I've been late to watching Skeleton Crew like every single week, and so I'll get into that when I talk about the Skeleton Crew stuff, but it just got to the point where we watched it Thursday night after we got back from the parks, and we were like, we are not recording an episode, y'all. We have to miss 2 weeks, so we are very sorry for missing 2 weeks of a show release too. This has never happened in 1313 history. And again, totally just because of the vacations, we just really wanted to take some time for ourselves. So we hope that you can forgive us for that. We had a really good time on vacation though, I will say. When I was visiting Jacob, he was actually just finishing his Disney College program, and that's why he isn't recording with me today. It is January 2nd as of recording this video right now. If you're watching the video or if you're listening to me on Spotify, Apple Music, or anywhere else the podcast is offered. But Jacob's actually on his way back to Pennsylvania, and he is about, I want to say like 10-ish hours away. So he will be back in the OG 1313 studio the next time that we decide to record on Skeleton Crew. So I'm super happy about that. I'm glad Jacob had the opportunity to do the Disney College program, and he got to do some really cool things like shoot commercials for Disney too, so that's pretty awesome. But I did visit him in Florida, and we were trying to figure out like what day we were going to go to Galaxy's Edge and all that, and everything in his schedule changed, and we ended up going to Galaxy's Edge on Christmas, and that was a real treat. It was so insanely fun. I'm not going to spoil anything from the rides because I don't know if you're like me, but when Rise of the Resistance and Smuggler's Run came out, I was very religious on the fact that I was not going to watch a single thing about those rides because I knew one day I would be at Disney and I would do it, and I would want it to be completely brand new to me. And so it paid off. I had such an amazing time on both of those rides. We both built lightsabers at Savi's. I don't have mine with me actually because I realized the dimensions were a little bit too large for me to fit it in my suitcase, and my wife and I were already traveling with a little too many bags at the time, so I had to give it to Jacob to take back to Erie, so maybe I'll have him ship it, but it looks super cool, and his looked really cool too. But I did pick up a few things on the side that I just wanted to show y'all really quick while I'm yapping, since it's just me this week. But ended up I chose blue for my crystal, so I got a yellow and a red crystal too. So super happy about that. I got some more Star Wars themed Aloha shirts for work because you can't go wrong. My entire wardrobe is almost consistently Star Wars t-shirts now, whether it's Aloha shirts for work or like a regular shirt for out of work. It's too funny for me, to say the least. But my dad also ended up buying me kind of like a blind box thing, and you could get like different like relics that Dok-Ondar had, and I got super lucky, and I got this Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmet. Look at that! Because the options were this, I want to say it was like General Grievous's skull, like a Tauntaun like mount. There was Ezra's Scout Trooper helmet that he painted from Rebels. That was really cool, so I wanted that at a clone, and so I have amazing luck sometimes when it comes to polls. But yeah, that was Galaxy's Edge. That's where we've been the last at least a little bit amount of time. But thank you again, obviously, if you are still enjoying the show and watching that. We were supposed to release like a longer form episode in December, and I was supposed to write the script for that, and I'll admit it, I really dropped the ball because I focused way too much on the vacation, and then it was also finals for my first semester in my master's program, so I'm still finishing some of the finals, but we will really try to have a video out sometime in January. Just gonna touch base with Jacob, see what he wants, and I'll just start pushing ahead. Actually, because I have the day off tomorrow, I might just write the script. What do you know? But yeah, so what else have we missed in Star Wars news for this week? Thankfully, because of the holiday, there hasn't been too much like movie and show news at all. It's really just been themed around Gift of the Galaxy, and I'm a in-person notes kind of a guy, so I wrote everything down. But in Hot Toys, oh my gosh, every single day we got a Hot Toys announcement, I was blowing up my family chat. We're gonna get a Hot Toys Commander Wolf, and then it has a grunt in quotations that you can make a phase 1 to phase 2. But if you know anything about the Clone Wars, you know it's Comet. So that's pretty cool. We're also getting a named member of Wolfpack. So both look absolutely amazing. And next year, honestly, is going to probably be really difficult for me because it's going to be the Revenge of the Sith anniversary. They've created an official logo for it, and products are going to start to come out for it. And God save us all, collectors, because we are going to be in a very difficult spot. But Plo Koon is also coming out. They were going to do a pre-sign up and pre-release of Saesee Tiin, which is really cool. That's a Jedi I honestly wasn't expecting. And they're also doing Darth Malgus, because as of yesterday they announced that, which was to be expected. The Darth Malgus Black Series figure performed extremely well, and a lot of people really are enjoying KOTOR stuff too. So makes sense that it was going to get into the Hot Toys realm eventually, at least. But all are really, really solid Hot Toys releases. I mean, I'm telling you, they're just doing more clones and more Jedi. It's kind of everything collectors have been begging for the past decade is finally coming to fruition. And it's really only because of the Revenge of the Sith anniversary, but I'm going to milk this anniversary dry. So by the end of 2025, I'll have all the clones and everything I can ever need, and they can never touch a clone again, and I will be so happy and content. But in the Black Series, we ended up getting a B2 Battle Droid with a Phase 1 Clone Trooper 2-pack, which is pretty neat. I mean, I got the Phase 2 Trooper with the B1 Battle Droid because I didn't really have a lot of B1s. But I don't think I'll pick that one up just because I already have a B2 droid. So that's fine with me. Still looks really cool if you want an army build. Perfect option for you. And then this was a crazy leak I was not expecting. It was the leaked idea that Yak was posting about, and they needed pictures to follow it up because Yak always has receipts. But they were going to do a 2-pack for Star Wars Visions based on like the samurai dude that you see in the first episode in his astromech droid. And not even close to being on my Black Series bingo card for the year, for the decade, for the century, even that we were going to get Visions-based Black Series figures. Now, if they make a Lope figure, now if they make a Lope figure, now if they make a Lope figure, but I digress. But I was just in shock that that was even going to happen to begin with. I'm really excited. I hope it's received very well and that they think that they can make more Visions Black Series figures in the future. Because Visions was a really fun concept, and I enjoyed a lot of what they had in Visions Season 2, and I'm looking forward to Season 3 and a lot of those original Japanese artists also coming back to do maybe sequels to their work, or maybe even just something different. But last but not least, in the realm of the vintage collection, the only thing that I really had written down was that they had this like Anakin 3-pack, and what I'm really, really holding on to as well is that the one Anakin that they keep making, they made a Funko of it, and now they have it in TVC, but it's Anakin on Mustafar with like the yellow eyes, and it's labeled Anakin in parentheses Darth Vader. And so I kind of feel like that's the perfect way that they're going to segline it, well, put it right into the Black Series. I already have confirmation from Yak. This is something I've commented on his posts before, asking if we were still going to get a Revenge of the Sith Anakin in the Black Series, and he did confirm it to me. So we know that this is coming. It'll definitely come in the Hot Toys as well, and it's going to look so cool. I'm so excited to have a brand new Anakin back in the line, because I really missed it. I feel like Anakin's something that people have been begging for. And sure, we did get the Clone Wars version, which is on my shelf over there, and it's cool. The Hayden face sculpt is kind of on it. It's okay, but I'm really, really hoping that with the new face scanning technology and Hayden being back in Star Wars, that it's going to look phenomenal. The TVC ones already look good, so I'm hopeful about that at least. I'm realizing I don't have Jacob to talk over me while I'm drinking water, so that's my bad, y'all. But yeah, Super excited for TVC collectors that they can get the Anakin 3-pack. Comes in the same kind of style that the con exclusive like ARC Trooper pack came in, where it had just C5s and Echo in it. So cool idea, cool concept. In other collector news, because it's January 2nd and it was a new year, there's new Star Wars sets that are going to be available. I believe it was the Acclimator ship, and I forget the rest. Really, the Acclimator was the only cool thing. And then, if you were a very devious person, a very mischievous person, this may have come for you in the mail. And I'm only going to briefly try to show it. Oh my gosh, what is that? What is that big box next to me? I wonder what it could... It's the Ghost. It's the HasLab Ghost. So I wanted to give a huge shout out to 212 Hunter. He really hooked me up on this. This was something that I was unable to purchase at the time of release because I had my wedding going on, and I seriously could just not afford to purchase it at the time, and he had purchased another, and I asked if I could buy the other one off of him. He was very gracious to do that. So thank you, Hunter. You were a really good friend for that. I appreciate it, because this is something I really, really wanted, and you helped me make that happen. But thankfully as well, it was supposed to go to his house, which I'm not going to dox him. It was supposed to go to his place, but because Hasbro was like, oh no, it's been a year since people purchased that, maybe we should let them update their address information. He was able to update it to ship here for free, so thank God for that, because I was not looking forward to paying shipping to the island for something this big and this heavy. It's been sitting around for probably 2 days in my apartment right now, right next to my desk, because I just haven't really brought myself to open it yet. I have a day off tomorrow, so maybe I actually should, but I work really early in the morning, and I don't get back until dinner, and by the time I eat dinner, I just want to do something with my wife and then go to bed. So that's just been my routine so far, but I will open this. There will be a review on it on the channel very, very soon. Won't be as early as some people, because some people got this really, really soon, and I wasn't expecting that, but that's kind of fine, you know. They are still shipping some out. I think January 13th was the next wave. Oh, and if you did order it and you didn't get it in yet, they will have you sign for this, because I did not know that when it was shipping. And so I was in Florida when I knew it was starting to arrive here, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna miss it. And then the day it was supposed to be delivered, Hunter actually got the notification and told me, and then I wasn't going to be there because I was at work and my wife was at work too. But thank God my brother-in-law was at home that day, so he was able to sign for it, so I didn't have to go through the whole rigmarole of chasing down the package and blah, blah, blah. So just a note, if you didn't get this already in the mail, they will have you sign for it, because I wasn't expecting that, but it's probably smart that they had you do that. But yeah, that's all I really got in collecting news, everybody. Kind of just want to jump right into Skeleton Crew. I'm not going to recap the last two episodes that we missed, just because I kind of feel like that's a little bit redundant. That's old news. That's in the past. You're here for this week's episode. Sorry. But the episode this week was called Zero Friends Again. And it really just kind of made me think more about like the dynamic of the characters. And I even kind of want to open up my discussion with this question of, are you still enjoying Skeleton Crew, or are you even hyped for it? Just because that's something I've really been pondering since it's come out. Because don't get me wrong, I love the show. I think the show is great. When I sit down to watch it and I make the time to watch it, I have so much fun with it. And I really think that the Star Wars community is slowly healing after all the division with Acolyte and everything else that's been going on recently. I feel like as a community, we can be like, this is a good show, it has some cool things in it, and we're okay with that. But I just don't know if I'm as excited or hyped as I was for other shows. And I don't really think maybe that's a bad thing, because I mean, in the back of my mind right now, I'm like, oh my gosh, Andor Season 2 is coming out in April? Like, oh my gosh, Andor was amazing, and I love that show. So I think maybe that's why I care for more characters and other things, is because of the excitement value that it has grabbing me watch it. But I don't know, just because for me, Tuesday, by the time the show comes out, I'm already taking my break, and maybe this is something that affects it, but the episodes are only 30 minutes, so I could finish that on a break, but I don't have the premium version of Disney Plus, so I have to sit through ads. So I only get about through like halfway, two-thirds of the episode during my break, and at that point I'm like, do I really want to watch the episode if I'm not going to be able to see it all the way through? Because I want to enjoy it, and I don't want to pause it and come back to it later at once. And then I get home from work, and then I'm just tired, and I'm like, do I really want to watch it tonight? Maybe I'll just watch it tomorrow. And so it's kind of just been something I've been putting off, and maybe that's just a general laziness trait for me. Over these past few months, I've just been going through a lot of different change here on the island, in my career, and with some other things as well. So maybe that's just an adult growing up thing that I'm experiencing. But I don't know. I don't think I've been as hyped for this as I have been for other shows like The Bad Batch and Andor and everything else. But I'm not saying that that's not a bad thing though. Like, because again, I like the show and I'm excited to talk about it, which is why I'm doing the episode this week instead of putting it off until Jacob can be with me again. Um, but there was, I mean, of the episode this week too, there were some really cool things that I enjoyed. For one, the crab, and as of today, recording to StarWars.com and their Instagram and their social media posted about it. The crab's name is Tetniss, T-E-T apostrophe N-I-S-S, which I think is hilarious considering it's created from metal. So if that thing touches or scratches you, you're definitely gonna get tetanus from that damn crab. But it was actually like a stop motion model because I remember watching the show and I was like, oh my gosh, like that doesn't look CG at all. Like it doesn't, it moved almost kind of how like some of the stuff does in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like the stop motion version of it, because it's fresh in my mind. It was just Christmas and I watched it all the way through. But I was like, oh my gosh, like they actually took the time to like reconstruct something and like move it around. And yeah, that they posted today that that was the case. And if you notice, there was a lot of different pieces of like Star Wars characters that they had used on it. So there's pieces of the Millennium Falcon, R2-D2's hanging off. There's like the upper half torso of C-3PO, pieces of K-2SO. But it's all from like modeling kits because the crab itself is probably only like actually like this big, I want to say, like in real scale. And so they just took all these pieces from like random Star Wars modeling kits and just like attached it all to the crab. And that's super cool. I think the directors of the show have really knocked it out of the park so far in bringing that like genuine Star Wars like realism back to it and not focusing solely on CGI. Like how Brutus is very obviously like a person in a suit and not a CG fur monster guy. Or K2SO is a practical thing that's moving, and sure, they have to CG like maybe actions and sequences of him, but for the most part, it's a thing that's there with the kids as they're performing. And yeah, I think it's great. Or even for Neil, how I'm pretty sure they just put like the trunk suit like over him. God bless Neil. God bless America. But uh, I felt like this episode was the first time the kids like had like a real like harder conflict against themselves, just because from last episode, Jod kind of stabbed him in the back. I also saw Wim totally like not igniting the lightsaber properly because I could see the butt was up and I was like, this is not going to end well. But yeah, Jod's just kind of on his own thing now, and he was captured by the pirate gang he was trying to escape from before. And now the kids are kind of left to their own devices, and they don't really know what to do with all of that. Just because, unfortunately for them, as much as Fern really wants to be their captain, they still have really relied on Jod for a lot of the things that they've been doing so far. And now that Jod is gone, they kind of realize that they were at the beginning they were very crippled because they didn't know what to do because they didn't have his adult knowledge as well. And that's another thing too I've really appreciated about the show is that it shows like maybe not every adult is always out there to help you when you're a kid. Just kind of classic messaging for movies and shows, I guess. But yeah, so they ended up doing a split where Fern ends up going with Neil, and then KB goes with Wim, and then they all just, in their own ways, they explore their weaknesses and realize that the entire time maybe they're all asking too much of each other and that they can lean on each other and other group members for certain things, which is what brings them back together and makes it stronger. And I appreciate that they got through the differences on that as well, because that's obviously not something I want to see carry over until the end of the show. But they're learning to work together as a team because they have no idea what they're doing in the rest of this galaxy as well. And I felt like the perfect metaphor for that too is at the end of the episode when this like gigantic like trash-eating robot is trying to eat the Onyx cylinder, and they're like, "Oh no, you can't press the one button that Jod and the robot, well, SM said not to press," and they end up pressing it, only to discover that the button is supposed to be what we have seen so far of the Onyx cylinder is only an exterior like hull to it. There's a whole nother extra ship underneath. And so it's this butterfly effect of like the kids have rejuvenated their friendship and become a new thing as they go out into the galaxy. Granted, they probably don't know where the hell they're going at this point. So God knows on that at least. I guess we'll find out next week on that. But yeah, that they were able to really come together as a group and as a team to do something different and kind of conquer these challenges that they really have all the odds stacked against them on. And they're just four kids that are honestly taking on the entire galaxy like pros right now. So props to them for that. But I believe this was at the beginning of the episode, but it's the only time we really see the pirates because they capture Jod and escape this perfect spa planet. But Jod gives his 2 cents to everybody about how like your share will like never go away and you'll have anything that you ever wanted if you just follow me and we all go to AT-ATN together, because they produce these Old Republic credits. Because again, nobody in the galaxy knows what AT-ATN is, and people on AT-ATN don't know what the rest of the galaxy is. So I'm still very much clutching on to my theory that this is something that the First Order has devised, even maybe before the war, or maybe this was during the time of Palpatine, and he even set aside these planets to make something different. Time will only tell, and I am maybe a little bit peeved on the last few episodes that we had, that we didn't get any other explanation on maybe where AT-ATN came from, only that there are other planets like AT-ATN that are almost exact clones of it. So that's why I'm really, really holding on to this idea. Me and David Edge are really holding on to this idea right now. But we'll have to see as the show progresses and it ends. I only think there's a couple more episodes, which does make me upset because I wish some of these shows were a little bit longer in length of episode time, and even, well, the runtime for the episodes and show length as well. But you can only do so much on a budget, I guess. But yeah, in this whole pirate scene, we see Jod's rallying everybody behind him, but then Brutus is like, we'll kind of, you'll just follow me, but you'll be like next to me the entire time because we're not going to let you free yet. I kind of even feel like if they get to AT-ATN, Brutus is still going to want to kill Jod. Also, a side note too, remember that pirate from Mando Season 3 that we were like, oh my gosh, this is going to connect to Skeleton Crew, he's going to be like the big bad guy. He has just taken like the ultimate back seat. Like they really set him up in The Mandalorian to be like this great like evil like pirate guy that was going to come back in Skeleton Crew, and then we were going to see him again in Mando. But he's hardly been in the show so far, I want to say. Like, he was, like, begging at the side of Brutus and, like, chatting with him over stuff, but that's it. Like, I am actually surprised that he hasn't had, like, a more major role. Maybe he'll get a more major role towards the end of this show, but until then, I'm still kind of like, what was the point of having him in The Mandalorian then, other than just some dude who thought he was doing something? Because I again, totally thought he was going to mean more and do more, and he wasn't at all. So, it is what it is. Nope, that's actually all the notes that I had for the show this week. It was very much like a cut and dry, like straightforward episode. There wasn't a whole lot of like hidden meaning and stuff or extra. This was definitely like we're preparing for the next big thing to happen in the next episode sort of a week. So I kind of hypothesize that by next week, when we have Jacob back on the show, that it'll be something a little bit more different, but we'll see. I am excited to see what happens next week. I will have to fact check myself on how many more episodes are in the show, but yeah, if you're enjoying the show, leave a comment down below. What are your thoughts on the episode that we saw this week and maybe some of the episodes that we missed too? Are there theories that you're brewing for yourself that maybe I'm not tracking or the rest of the community isn't that you want to let others know? And if you also not only want to let people know in the comments of this video, you can also join our Discord where we have amazing Star Wars people that talk. It's really not on a daily basis, but I actually like the pace that things are at now because I feel like the Discord is much more manageable because people will just kind of randomly hop in when they want to say something. So y'all are awesome. We appreciate you. If you made it to the end of the video, please consider subscribing to our channel, liking the video, and staying tuned for more of our content. I think next month on the island there's supposed to be some more cons, so we'll get back in the swing of that. Jacob might even just do some when he's back in Pennsylvania, so we'll see. We'll keep y'all in the loop too when we're working on another longer form video. We had a ton of fun with that and it performed so well, so we're excited to do more things like that as well. Am I missing anything in the notes? Buy the merch, buy the merch, buy the merch. Hope you all had a great rest of your week and that you have an amazing new year too. Thank you for watching. We'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.